Good afternoon. My name is Ruth. I'm Director of the Bunting Neighborhood Leadership Program here at Johns Hopkins Urban Health Institute. And I'm here to talk about a really exciting Bunting Neighborhood Leadership Program Fellowship application. And with me today are two of the fellows from 2017. So Imani is on my right, and she'll have a chance to tell us a little bit about her experience later on. And then to my left is Elise. So we're going to go ahead and get started with question and answers. And please do continue to send us your questions via Facebook Live.
And Ragna, can you talk to us about the application process and what it involves?
The application process. Okay, so we have posted our application on our Urban Health Institute website, and folks can download the application from there. It provides detailed application process. One, all interested applicants must be between the age of 18 and 45 years of age. They must be emerging leaders, meaning that they have done some extensive work around community organizing and community projects in the targeted neighborhoods that we have listed in the application. They must respond to a list of short questions, and then there are more extensive, like essay type of questions. But there's also a video piece. All these pieces are very important part of the application, equally important. And also folks must be available 1 full day a week if accepted into the program as BNLP fellows. And they must also agree to the rules and expectations of engagement in this wonderful program.
How will the fellows be selected?
The fellows will be selected, one, through a review of their application. And then there will be a set of reviewers reviewing the application, and then based on consensus, we're going to call the top candidates for an interview. And we have a rubric that we use to rate the interviews and also the applications. And we will be checking references and then making the final decision based on all that. So it's the application, both the written and the video piece. It'll be the interview and it'll be reference. So the reference checks include one professional reference, and also one reference in terms of someone that can really testify about the level of community engagement of the applicant.
Great, thank you so much. And which has more value, the written answers or the video response?
Each is equally weighed across all the application and video piece, but also written piece. So all the components are really, really important, as are the interviews and the references. So please pay attention to making sure that you've responded to all the questions very thoroughly.
Is there a set day of the week that BNLP sessions will happen on?
Our sessions this year happen on Fridays, and I think that fits well with most people's schedules, so I think that's how we're going to move forward coming 2018.
Okay, what about any retreats or things of that
nature? So very good that you asked or reminded me. So our sessions are every Friday, but there are some exceptions because we will be having 2 or 3 retreats. So that will extend it to a Thursday or a Saturday in some cases. In rare cases, we may have our sessions not on Friday but on other dates. But it hasn't happened this year, but there are possibilities like that.
And what is the standard format for trainings?
There is no really standard format for trainings. This is really a very serious training program, so we have a variety of ways that we provide trainings, which includes coming to the sessions every week and a school day session, and reading materials, weekly assessments of what you've learned in the process, assignments, field trips, and in some cases the assignments are not written but actually are video presentations. So that's a variety. And in some cases, I think we're going to be more and more doing webinars as well this coming year.
Who are the members of the BNLP faculty program?
We have core instructors representing expertise in our core curriculum areas, and they include instructors that represent academia, but also community leaders. The core content area, curriculum areas are listed in the application, but also in our bunting brochure, and that includes communication skills, deconstructing racism, decision making, policy and advocacy. Let me see, did I forget? A relationship building. So those are the key components of our core curriculum.
And there are many communities in Baltimore that can benefit from this kind of program. Why is the focus on the selected neighborhoods that are included in the application?
We are focused first and foremost, the priority goes to East Baltimore because we're really focusing in our neck of the woods. That's where Hopkins Urban Health Institute is located. And there's tremendous need that exists in our surrounding communities right here in East Baltimore. And we are also investing in West Baltimore because we see tremendous need there as well. So we identified neighborhoods that have very, very limited resources, scarce resources. So we felt like we need to invest in those neighborhoods first and foremost.
Or will those who have worked in the neighborhoods outside of those listed be included for consideration?
Yes, they can be considered in consideration if they make substantial backing, support to why they selected those neighborhoods. But they have to be neighborhoods where, again, there is a tremendous need and limited resources invested in those communities. Again, we're focusing in East Baltimore and West Baltimore.
And does the fellowship provide opportunities for fellows to network?
Yes, there are opportunities. As I mentioned, there are retreats, and in some cases there are overnight retreats, providing time for our fellows to network with each other outside of class environment. We have team building sessions. We have formal and informal gatherings, and in some cases the fellows themselves have their own gathering outside of the BNLP structured gathering opportunities. But beyond just the BNLP fellows, we want to network with other fellows that exist in Baltimore City, the OSI fellows, for example, and others.
How will the 20% salary compensation be determined?
That is a very good question, and Pam, who is our administrator here at the School of Public Health, will work very closely with the employer to determine the 20% salary and benefits, fringe benefits. So it is a communication directly between our administrator here and the employer. I want to really emphasize and provide clarity that 20% compensation is not supplemental. Bless you, Imani. It's not supplemental. It is 20% of your time devoted to working on BNLP outside of your job. So 4-day a week at your job, 1 day a week here. So that's where the 20% comes from. So I just want to reiterate, because there were some confusions in the past, it is not supplementary income.
And how will Bellows' performance be measured?
Fellows' performance will be measured in a variety of ways and over several years. So as I mentioned before, there's weekly assessments. So following the sessions that they have attended, there's opportunity for them to reflect and to provide written assessment about their sessions. And there are also segment assessments. So when they complete a segment, they actually will provide a written assessment of what they've learned during that segment period. And in some cases, it's a video presentation that they provide. We also look at the attendance, weekly attendance of the fellows, whether they're on time for sessions, and the timely submission of their assignments. And also we would look at the over the years how they have developed their community projects and to what extent they were able to successfully implement their community projects. So that is why I say it takes, we're looking at assessment over several years, because we are looking at big category areas when we think about community change. It's not something that can be done in a year. You're getting a whole year of training, and then you're getting a year and a half of mentorship, and using the knowledge, skills, and network to really implement in a successful way, we're hoping, community changes that we hope you'll be able to bring on. So we'll be following the cohorts of BNLP fellows over several years.
Are the performance measures related to attendance and timely submission of assignments reported to supervisors?
Yeah, all that will be reported to the supervisors, everything, yeah. So we're keeping a record of everything that you submit. We're keeping a record of level of attendance. We're keeping information about the rate of satisfaction of of your involvement in BNLP. This is a rigorous, I want to reiterate, this is a rigorous process, and I'm going to let you talk about that later on. But it's really important that applicants become clearly aware, because we're investing a lot of money, foundation money, and also Urban Health Institute money, because we believe in serious investment of emerging leaders to help us work together and bring about successful transition in some of the neighborhoods. So such serious investment requires serious engagement of the fellows. So being prepared to come to class, completing assignments, and clearly developing your action plans, all that are important for not your success, not my success, or BNLP's total success of this initiative.
Thank you, Rebecca, for answering those questions.
Absolutely. Are we all done with my questions? And the questions from me? Okay, any more questions? All right, so what I'm going to do is really give you the opportunity to share with our applicants about your experience. So you applied for BNLP last year. You were successful in being accepted into this program. So why did you apply, and what did you expect? Would like to start. Why did you apply, and what did you expect to gain?
Sure. So
at least tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure, an introduction. So my name is Elise Preston. I'm currently the program manager at the 29th Street Community Center, which offers programming for youth and adults 6 days a week. We also partner with local community schools and neighborhood associations to do community building work. And I applied to the Bunting Neighborhood Leadership Program because when I reviewed the application and took a look at the conceptual framework for the program, I was just really struck by how much the content really resonated with me. I was very eager to be able to expand my own personal leadership development, to have access to so many passionate faculty members, and be able to just have so many new tools in my tool belt as I am learning and growing in the space of doing social impact work in Baltimore. And so in terms of what I expected, I think I was imagining this being a little bit more academic and structured, and it is very academic and structured, but the experience overall has been really rewarding because of the care and investment that the Urban Health Institute and our core faculty have really shared and invested in us. So I've gotten so much out of the program because we, at the beginning of our year, were really able to articulate what our core values are, what our interests are, what our passions are, and have been able to build relationships with some of our core faculty and with our fellows to expand into the areas of interest that we have and really tailor the experience to our own needs and our own goals, which has been such a great learning and growing experience.
Okay, I'm going to get back to you in a few minutes in terms of specific examples of what you've gained. So, Imani, so the same question applies to you. So, why did you apply and what did you expect to gain from this program?
Hey. So my name is Imani Bryan and I work at the Baltimore City Health Department. I am the Health and Policy Analyst for the Office of Youth Violence Prevention. And a lot of my job has to do with quality assurance over our violence prevention initiatives, which include safe streets and school-based violence prevention. And so one of my greatest motivations for applying to BNLP was the emphasis on community leadership. With this focus, I knew I would be a part of something that was much bigger than myself. I expected to be connected with local and national change agents, but I was most excited about the opportunity to work with a group of innovative and dynamic individuals who could help me process through problems and really find solutions most pertinent to Baltimore City. Another thing that I was really motivated to apply to this program was that it had self-identified learning objectives. So I really had the opportunity to determine how I had the opportunity to determine how I sorry, excuse me. What I wanted to learn and how I was going to learn. And the other thing that was my greatest takeaway, while I thought that my greatest takeaway would be the opportunity to network with a lot of different people, I realized that I had gaps in my own leadership skills. And I've never, for example, I never had an opportunity to put together a whole policy campaign. And currently we are in a distance learning class within the School of Public Health, and we're learning how to do that from beginning to end. And I've always known that policy advocacy was the most effective strategy at sustainable change, but really didn't understand all that went into creating a comprehensive plan behind that. And I've also enjoyed networking and having opportunities to meet people like Senator Mikulski. I mean, there was at one point we had a 2-hour discussion with her, and she was also very available to meet with me one-on-one and have a follow-up discussion about where I wanted to go with my career and how to achieve that. So when they say that they are invested in you, it's not just about the money. The people and the core faculty that they have selected to work with us are very encouraging and have made themselves available to meet with us outside of regular hours or outside of a presentation that they may have.
Okay, great. I mean, can you speak to what Imani stated in terms of the core instructors that we've put together? Have you accessed them outside of the regular BNLP sessions, and how helpful have they been?
So I would say I've had the opportunity to meet with 4 of our faculty members outside of our Friday sessions, and each experience has been incredibly inspiring, empowering. Just having the opportunity to connect with these leaders one-on-one and have them share their wisdoms, their insight, their time has been such a gift. And it does feel like an experience that is very unique, because a lot of times there's people that we want to connect with, people that we want to learn from, and we don't necessarily have the access, or they may not necessarily have the space in their schedule, but because this fellowship has created these bridges between emerging leaders and very prominent existing leaders, it's been such a wonderful experience to be able to learn from their amazing experience. So I would say that in terms of thinking about applying for the program, something that I would really encourage as you're maybe beginning the application process is thinking about your own core values and thinking about what you want to get out of the program, so you can clearly articulate that in your application and in your interview, because I think that'll really allow you to stand out in the application process and to be able to make the most of the experience if you are selected, because for me that's been such a great area of growth that this program has allowed.
Okay.
And to all BNLP perspectives, I want you all to know that this is a highly effective and worthwhile program if you commit to the process. The assignments can be very comprehensive, but they're manageable if you do them and stay on top of them. Because as was mentioned earlier, it is Hopkins, so there is a highly rigorous academic component to that, and that will only build your capacity to really effectively go out there and do things like apply for grant applications and win them, or it will really help you community organize better. You will have, and most importantly, I just want you all to know that the time that you invest in this program will not only benefit you, but it will have an immediate impact on your organization that you're representing and your community. So I wish you all the best of luck in your application process.
Okay, so we both talked about the rigorous nature of this fellowship and also the focus in academia, and that is important. Like I said, it's because it's really housed at Hopkins. But there's also this practical piece, application piece. So can you speak a little bit about that? And especially reflecting on those that are not from academia, but they are just core instructors with expertise that have done extensive work in the community. So if you can share your experience related to that.
Sure. So, as Roka said, some of our lessons are more theory-based, more academic, but a lot of our sessions do have very practical tools and strategies that we can use the following Monday when we get back from our fellowship. So a couple examples would include our session on one-on-one meetings and learning how to develop individual relationships with members of our community and how to do that in a more effective way. How to lead effective and efficient meetings, and how to respect everyone's time when you're having meetings, because that is something that's a big part of our work life, and how to do that in the most efficient way. We've also talked a lot about communication strategies and how to more effectively communicate with supervisors, how to more effectively communicate with employees, and how to build work environments that are more positive for all who are involved. And so I would say there's a good balance of the higher level stretching academic theories and concepts around how to build power, how to structure a campaign, how to think about dismantling structural inequalities and systematic racism. So those are big and heavy concepts. But then we also do balance that with how to communicate interpersonally, how to hold meetings, how to build relationships. So it really is a very comprehensive program that has been structured for the fellows.
Yeah. And I will also just reemphasize that while there is a lot of academic rigor to the program, there's a very community level component to it as well. When you're able to sit down and have a conversation with Diane Bell McCoy about how to show up in a boardroom, or if you're able to speak to the director of the Coleman Foundation, which works directly with elementary school age children, teaching them the value of reading, you're able to see the social innovation in programs that you can't necessarily get from a JSTOR article. How they have utilized and leveraged fundings in ways that are unimaginable when you don't really have any funding available to you has been amazing, because it forces you to think creatively. It makes you think outside the box about, well, what are the traditional ways that you go about acquiring resources or leveraging your network, as opposed to working within the reality of what you have and really building upon the people and the resources that you have available to yourself.
Okay. So I think this is going to be my last question, and it is, what is the area of focus for your policy issue or community engagement work that you want to take on as a result of BNLP?
Sure, so I can start. So through the online class that Amani described that we're all engaging in now, we have been charged with creating a policy plan that we want to work to design and implement over the next year and then continuing on in our careers in Baltimore. And I've decided that I would like to focus on a project that's closely aligned with my work as a program manager at a community center. And so currently there's no permanent structure in place for how the Department of Parks and Rec in Baltimore City is funded. There used to be a designated tax that allowed rec centers in the city to be well funded. In the late 70s, there were over 150 rec centers in Baltimore City. They were all or mostly open from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. They were well staffed. There were lots of programs, but the company that was contributing to that tax was dissolved, and that tax was never paid for how to re-implement a tax that would create a permanent, consistent funding structure so that we're able to invest in programming for youth in our city. Is something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm really excited to explore how I can partner with other leaders all around the city to be able to build a really strong and vibrant campaign around this issue. And it's great that we have had access to professors at Hopkins to be able to help us to build a plan, to be able to have the tools and strategies that are necessary to understand how to identify key targets and connect with stakeholders and put together a media plan, because these are all things that are new to me, and having access to experts has been really, really essential in learning how to do that in a way that can be successful.
Great. So, Imani, what is a specific area of interest that you have around community engagement that you want to carry on with BNLP and beyond?
Okay. Well, prior to acceptance into the program, in my application process, I identified that I had an interest in pre-release readiness and ensuring that inmates had proper wraparound services, as well as were connected to a primary care physician and a mental health clinician. As I have gone through the process of BNLP, I've sort of expanded what does that focus look like, and most recently through our policy advocacy component of the program, I've decided to focus on community health workers. I feel that expanding their role and certifying them through the state of Maryland would allow them to just be able, would allow the community to see their value as an allied health professional, as well as expand the quality of services that they're delivering to the community. And it would also be a way for them to be connected to the population that I identified as a population of interest, which are inmates 6 months prior to release.
Okay, great. You both have excellent plans, and it's wonderful that you're going to have the mentors that you're going to be working with, not only through the rest of the year, but also next year. So we look forward to some really great success coming out of the two of you and the other BNLP leaders. So thank you very much for being here and taking the time to really share your experiences with BNLP applications. And I want to thank the Bunting Foundation. I want to thank Where I Exist, the Urban Health Institute, and all of my colleagues here. And I want to also thank the core instructors. Those of you that are interested in who the core instructors are, representing both academia and the community, you can actually log on to our website and look at on the BNLP page, and you'll be able to see who the core instructors are for BNLP. So all applicants, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to getting many applications and many successes to all of our BNLP fellows. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.